Hello everyone and welcome to today's video, which is the series on what I would do differently looking back in property over the years. And in today's video, we're looking at self-managing or letting agents. And when I first started in property in 2005, my plan was very much to self-manage. And that was a considered plan for a couple of reasons. One, because I wanted to learn the industry. I wanted to understand the different nuances of kind of tenants and the nuances of different tenant strategies and the nuances of really how to make a property its most successful it can be by trying to provide a perfect kind of tenant experience, a perfect home. And I felt by being involved in all that process, I had a little bit more handle on how that would work. The other reason for doing it was to save funds. I was starting with smaller budgets. I didn't have the luxury, let's say, of lots of cash flow to spend on everything. And I wanted to try and save the potential cost of managing the property by self-managing. And I also had the time to do it. I wasn't in another career or another industry where I wasn't able to be involved in that property. So it made sense to utilize my time to be involved and do that self-managing process. Now, during that time frame, I learned a lot, and I learned a lot fast. There's so much that can kind of go wrong with mismanaging a property that it's important to kind of consider really more than just the cost of a letting agent, but the value that a letting agent can really bring as long as they're a good quality letting agent. For sure, there are some less quality letting agents out there. So it's important to pick a quality agent. But the difference between self-managing, as good as you can be compared to a letting agent that can manage that same property, I think is night and day. So I was very involved. I wanted to save the money and I wanted to kind of be hands-on, but it is so time intensive. Not just when there's problems that occur and you need to kind of do things to kind of make sure that the tenants are happy and the property is maintained, through to certainly tenant finding, but also just the admin involved in it. So if a new tenant is starting or a tenant's moving out, or you need to work with kind of utilities, all of these things sort of take time. And when you're setting up your systems and your processes from day one, and you're doing it maybe once every couple of months or once every couple of years, you have to kind of restart that whole process. You don't have a system in place. You've got to redo everything from scratch effectively. And that's so inefficient. It takes a lot of time, which if you compare that to a letting agent that has everything up and running. So if a tenant gives notice, they have a system in place for that. If you're looking at renting a property, they have a system in place for that. If you need to have maintenance teams to go out of property and that needs to be managed in some way, they'll have a system in place for that. And that all takes time and effort and energy. But when it's systemized and processed in a way that a letting agent can really make it seamless, it doesn't take them anywhere near the same amount of time it would take you. And that's forgetting things like opportunity cost, the value of your time, or the things that you could be doing with your time that could be so much more important in terms of higher level tasks, adding value to your portfolio, or maybe you're involved in another career and another industry, spending your time on the micro elements of managing a property and managing tenants or managing kind of maintenance teams, for example, I believe is very inefficient. So what I would do differently is work with letting agents as part of my portfolio plans much sooner. I'd consider bringing on that professional kind of team, if it were, much earlier on in the process, rather than what I did, which was self-manage for a number of years, my properties, and then eventually got to a point of kind of breaking point effectively for my own available time. I just didn't have the time to go out and find new properties. I didn't have the time to go out and do new things and improve my portfolio because I was so busy in the day-to-day managing side of it. And then it took a fair period of time to try and transition away from that. Whereas if I'd done that on day one and I'd set that system in place on day one, that I was working with the professional letting agents, had the right team, had the right structure, it'd be very easy to build and very easy to add a new property into that system rather than trying to kind of recreate everything when you do a new area or a new property type or a new tenant type and have to kind of learn that whole process on day one from self-managing. So that would be my review, let's say, of 15 years of property experience. Self-managing or letting agents, absolutely use letting agents, assuming that is you have some good quality professional letting agents in your area. I hope that helps. Any questions, please feel free to ask. Always happy to assist and look forward to catching up with you in the next video. Take care.